eMmDeeKay says hello. Welcome to eMmDeeKay says, let's play Minecraft episode 2. If you're seeing this right now, that means I did the thing, and I did it more than once. In today's episode we're going to build our starter base, as well as automatic farms for sugarcane, bamboo, and cactus that should all fit inside fairly neatly, I hope. I haven't actually designed the interior. But first I need resources. Now I wouldn't say I did any off-camera mining. But I definitely did some off-camera caving. And some off-camera tree farming. And some off-camera beekeeping. And some off-camera villager trading. So the first thing I have to do this episode is break all of this down, get some of the materials smelted and go collect the remaining resources I need for the build. I need calcite, deep slate, and bricks, and I haven't collected any yet. Calcite, there's a vein on one of the mountains following our coastline. But bricks, I either need to go get clay, or trade with villagers. And looking for a lush cave sounds like it could be a pretty fun adventure, so I'm going to at least give it a shot. So let's get all of this broken down and put away and get started on the episode. eMmDeeKay says, well, that took a few in-game days. But I'd say this is a pretty solid stockpile of materials for the foreseeable future. I'm going to take a few, get this all condensed down, smelted, pack it away for the time being. And the next thing you should see is a few clips of me flying around trying to find an azalea tree, and hopefully our next chat is at the entrance to a lush cave. Well, that was easy. I'd say that'll teach me a lesson, but it won't. Anybody else? I forgot buckets and shears because I am dumb. So I'm going to have to find some iron while I'm down here so I can get small drip leaf and axolotls. Seems like a good place to start collecting. eMmDeeKay says, and that's how you get hopelessly lost in a cave. I've got everything I came for, so I'm just going to dig my way out of here and fly back to spawn. See you there. eMmDeeKay says, I've laid out all of the materials I'm going to need for the build and temporarily torch spammed the area to protect it from creepers while I'm working. I shouldn't need the majority of this, but I haven't done a real count of what I need, so I just made sure there's enough that I'm not going to have to go gather more materials mid-build. I already get easily distracted enough as it is. Then I need to clear off these top 2 layers. Cover up this hole. I've already lit up inside, but I'm leaving it in case I want to do something with it later. Then I'm going to build out this platform and round it off a bit so it's not such a flat face, and I have a bit more space to build. Then I'm going to lay out the basic shape of the build in wool just to make sure everything fits. Maybe subject to change. eMmDeeKay says this first layer here is our foundation. Then we're going to come up and in 1 block with deep slate. Up 10 blocks with calcite. 2 layers of deep slate. 1 with stairs, 1 straight sections, and walls on the angles where stairs don't work. 10 blocks. 2 blocks. 10 blocks. 1 block up. 1 block in. And a 2 wide layer of iron trapdoors. Layer of calcite. Little bit of glass. Walls for some structure. Calcite on top of all that. The roof that covers our platform. And a lightning rod. There's still a fair amount of detail work that needs to happen, but that's the basic structure of the lighthouse done. You see, for the main house I don't have an exact plan, just a block palette, and a basic idea of how the front face is going to look. I'm pretty much winging it from this point forward. So first things first, we're going to lay down a 2-block high brick foundation. This will let me build up around it and blend the building in with the terrain. Notch out where the door is going, and then I can go ahead and lay down the jungle wood floor. Now the walls. I'm using bone blocks because I think they tie the brick in with the exposed copper really well, as well as having a nice vertical stripe pattern to them. I think looks like painted wood. But I'm not exactly sure how tall they need to be. And the roof I have planned should be significantly shorter than the one I did in creative. Those 2 things combined is going to mess with the scale a bit. So I'm going to build them up taller, cut in my windows, and trim them down as I put in the roof. Might change it again in 5 minutes, but I think this is what I'm going with. eMmDeeKay says, so I'm going to be honest, this took me a lot longer than it probably should have. But after countless build-ups, tear-downs, moving walls, and removing walls, and finally settling on simplifying it a bit to make it work, I'm happy with this. eMmDeeKay says, so quick demo before I get started. I'm going to be using this bud-powered piston/observer setup with some waterlogged stairs for the sugarcane farm. Nothing too crazy going on, no redstone dust. Observer powers the block, powers the note block, updates the piston, and voila! Easy farm, and lag-friendly, but a little expensive. So first thing I'm going to do is place some scaffolding down in the center of the lighthouse. Then while I'm up here I might as well cut in my windows so I can see a bit better. Next I'm going to set up my water sources every 4 blocks down. Now I place a temporary block here, and lay down my observers. Solid blocks and note blocks. Pistons. Lighting. and then grass blocks and sugarcane. Then you realize you only made enough materials to do half of the farm. And one jump cut later, here's the finished farm. I just built a platform at the bottom with water pushing everything to a hole on one end. The pillars on each side are because I noticed sugarcane getting trapped in the outer corner. Now it's just a matter of adding hoppers and chests to hold the drops. So this was going to be the last segment of the video where I show that the sugarcane farm is working and explain the cactus and bamboo farms, and we'll get to that. But when I was trying to plan out my script, the shots I need, I started struggling a bit. And that's when my ADHD kicked in and said, nope, we're not doing this anymore. So I'm going to take you through a quick recap of the last few IRL days. eMmDeeKay says, since I was stuck, I decided to spend some time at the stray grinder and upgraded my sword, axe, and pickaxes. As I was walking back, I got annoyed at having to jump up the blocks, so I decided to make a quick path in front of the house. When the path was done, I looked at the house and decided to lower the section of the roof one block to change up where the layers connect. As I was looking at my handiwork, I decided to try my hand at a few details on the front to try and pull the look together. Turns out, because the house is so short, and my lack of experience, this was quite a task. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this took me the better part of an IRL day. I'm still not entirely happy with it, but I stopped short of tearing off the roof, extending the wall 3 blocks to the right, and making it 3 blocks thick, and having to completely redesign the house for the 8th time. I still might, time will tell. eMmDeeKay says building and detailing genuinely is still relatively new to me, so I'll probably make more than a few mistakes like this in the future. But I have to say, it is growing on me as time goes on. With the details done there, I figured I might as well go all the way and get the lighthouse textured. But about 25% of the way through, I started to run out of white wool. Now a sane person would just dye their sheep white. But I went ahead and found a bunch of sheep wandering around on the other side of the mountain and bred them up. While I was doing this, I saw a donkey, so I went back to the smuggler's den and grabbed a saddle. And since I already had a saddle on me, I figured I might as well tame some horses, one of which instantly became my favorite. This horse is fast, can jump 3 blocks, which isn't amazing but it's passable, and has 14 hearts. I have absolutely no idea what to name it, so if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Wool acquired, I went back to texturing the lighthouse. But sometime in the middle of that, I got bored and added the guardrail. Then I pacified a couple of pillagers. And that was when I noticed from down low, the guardrail and the glass textures were clashing together really badly, and the top looks a little short and fat compared to the rest of the building. But I went ahead and finally finished texturing, tried to give it a slight gradient by using more diorite at the base and more wool at the top. Lowered this roof section to match the other one. Then I dipped into my creative copy of the seed to figure out how to fix the clashing glass when I noticed an interesting cave in this pocket while doing some unnecessary terraforming. I was pretty low on gunpowder and down to 4 rockets at this point, and having recently acquired looting 3 on my sword, I figured, sure, why not go caving? And that's when this happened. Hey buddy, you look awfully familiar. eMmDeeKay says this will have to do for now. With eye patch guy rescued, I jumped down a different hole and went creeper hunting for a while. And found a black cat in our mountain village on my way home, and this bad boy behind me. 15 slot llama. The next day I was back in creative to try and figure out what to do about the lighthouse, and that's when things got out of hand. I spent quite a while off and on playing around with different designs, adding and subtracting details, until I finally wound up with something that I felt looked really good. But then there was a new problem: it was much more detailed than the rest of the lighthouse. This was an easy fix in creative, but here in survival it required me to tear down half of the sugarcane farm and rebuild it one block in. You can see I've added iron bars to prevent the sugarcane from landing on the blocks on the opposite side. So that's why the lighthouse looks completely different. I don't think I could be happier with how it turned out. When I first found the seed and came over the hill, I immediately pictured a lighthouse with a small house attached sitting out on that rock. I even knew what blocks to use, but I couldn't have imagined it coming out looking anything like this. I honestly didn't know I had it in me. At some point in the process I got this image of an old gas street light stuck in my head, and I just ran with it until I had it all worked out, and I just love it, and I hope you like it too. Now, I promised 2 more farms, and since I'm pretty sure this video is running way too long already, we're going to do a speed run. Pardon my dust, this room is still a work in progress for obvious reasons. eMmDeeKay says sugarcane farm working. Cactus farm. Hopper, barrel, rail, hopper, minecart, hole, break the rail, sand, cactus. Wish I could remember who to credit. I've seen this done so many times I don't know who did it first. I'm really sorry. If someone knows who came up with this design, please let me know in the comments and I'll add it to the description. Bamboo farm, bamboo plant, dispenser, comparator clock, dust, torch, dust, pistons, bone meal, 2 bone meal, loud noises. This one is my design, and it's based off of a tutorial I already made, but I'll be making a tutorial for this more compact design and it should be up around the same time as this video, so there will be a link in the description. eMmDeeKay says, I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I did a lot more than I had intended to do, but I'm incredibly happy with the results. If you actually sat through an entire video with this ridiculous robot voice and actually enjoyed it, consider subscribing. I really love the seed and there's no lack of inspiration around every turn, so I'm going to be playing in this world for a long time. Next episode 1 need to do some interdimensional travel, so I'll be setting down the groundwork for a nether hub. That is clearly an iRobot. I'll also be getting ancient debris, raiding a bastion to try and get some nether wart because the fortress from episode 1 actually doesn't have a staircase, getting some wither skeleton skulls, cheesing the wither just to get a beacon, and doing some end city raiding to get some more shulker boxes for a future project. But before I let you go, there's something I found in a dungeon while I was doing my distraction caving. The jams. eMmDeeKay says, have a good one.